Hello and welcome back to Graceful 40. So glad to be with you again. Brandy here, and we are here to talk today about Frugal Budgeting 101. Over the last 8 months, I have been digging in deep with frugal budgeting, getting real acquainted, and it's been a lovely time. So I'm sharing my top 10 frugal budgeting hacks to save more money. Because why not? We like to have money for the things we actually want it for, not for things that we look back and don't necessarily love that we spent so much on this or that, right? So in that name, I'm gonna tell you my top 10. I wanna kick us off with something that's super basic but important. So item number one for really getting a handle on budgeting, and I'll tell you a story in a moment, but number one is gonna be learning your income and your expenses. So step one, learn your income. What is your monthly income cycle? How much money is coming in every month? And I find pen and paper to be more effective. I know there's a lot of apps at this point, but I personally prefer to have things written by hand so I can really see it and like connect with it, mind and body. I want to connect with what I'm doing. And for me, writing things down is the way to go. And I will say I'm partial to writing things down from the cognitive behavioral perspective. So item number two, also learn your expenses. Like go through a full month of like observing your expenses, like your automatic payments, anything that you just tend to like have any habits around, and what are those numbers looking like. And okay, here's the story really quick. I was scared, like literally scared to budget, and it's not for the reason you would suspect. It wasn't because like, oh, I won't get to spend money. Like that wasn't my fear. My fear was literally, I just don't know what to do. I'm so overwhelmed with the concept that I don't even know where to begin. So I was really overwhelmed, and it took me a really long time to get my budgeting together because I just didn't know where to start. And when I would watch a lot of videos or like read articles about it, it was always like a bunch of like small graphs and numbers, and it was just kind of confusing. And I don't feel like I'm a math person per se, so I think just seeing spreadsheets was like, I don't want none of that. But the truth is, budgeting is way easier when I could just get out of the mental block. So truly, if you write down like on a lined piece of paper, oddly enough, because that can be kind of like a graph too if you think about it, but if you write down your expenses on one side and if you write down income on the other, just see it all right there, make it simple. So that's what held me up for so long, is just seeing all the spreadsheet stuff people have and how that works for them. That's great, but for me, I really need simple. So if you're a person who needs simple and you get overwhelmed with like math and numbers and graphs, then just get a piece of paper and make it so simple. Income versus expenses. That is the main key to budgeting, honestly. So
join the tribe, please subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment.
So going on, so we did 1 and 2, expenses and income, right? So item number 3, find a routine way or practice, whatever works for you, to visit. Like you're visiting an old friend. You want to visit your online accounts and see what's cracking. You want to check in on them, see how they sleeping at night, how they been, how's their cousins, how's their mom, how is everybody. So check your online accounts routinely. So your banking accounts, check them, befriend them, don't run away from them, treat them like a buddy, because you're trying to have a good relationship with money. And for me, what happened for a while is that I would avoid looking into my accounts because they were a mess. Girl, boy, person, my accounts were a mess. So when I would look at my accounts before, there'd be random charges. I didn't know what they were from or why they were there. There would be some guilt of like spending behaviors going on where I'd be like, why did I spend $350 at the grocery store in a week? And then I went back again. So I would really have to face my behaviors, and that was overwhelming, and I didn't want to do it. But what I realize now that I've kind of moved through that process is that there's a lot of beauty in reflecting, especially when your relationship with your finances and money is improving. You can look at your account and you understand, because that's your friend. Your account is your friend, not your enemy. So I definitely recommend. For me, I think I check my account 2 to 3, 4 times a week, at minimum once or twice a week, because I still like to keep close. I want to let my account know I'm there for him, her, or it, and that I will look after them to make sure that they are taken care of, because that's my boo. Okay, so all that to say, item number 4, mark your calendar for auto payments and manual payments. So for me, I have a physical calendar that I just print off of Canva, and I just track my payments that are due for the month or anything that needs to get paid. So like my electricity bill, for whatever reason, I haven't set up auto pay. So like they'll send me an email, then I'll put it on the calendar, or any other like recurring charge I just put on there so I can see it. It helps me to make sure I'm not missing deadlines and getting late fees. So I feel like that's a saving money hack. It's like the more you can see your expenses. So like my expense calendar is with my work calendar. And so I can see, or actually kind of will put them together. So I'll put work things on the calendar, but I'll also put like the paydays that are coming in on the calendar. And I'll also put what automatic payments are happening or what I need to manually pay and where it lives. So that's a way to save money and avoid late fees, because when I'm at work, I'll see my work calendar several times, 5 times a week. So I tend to not miss when that is my point of reference. So whatever the case, if you don't have a work calendar and you have a different system, like lean into whatever system you tend to refer to the most often, because that is the thing that makes it work. All right, okay. So I want to go on to the next one here. Okay, item number 5. I am a Christian girly, so I tithe 10% of my income and giving it right back to God and saying, praise you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the blessing of literally being able to tithe, which is a blessing. So I tithe 10%. And so a part of my payday routine is to tithe 10%. After that, I pay myself 20 to 35% of my income. And then I also will take from the income, like I think right now it's like 120 to 250 that I'll put into a sinking fund for travel / miscellaneous expenses. So I have that happening. And so this is just a very nice routine that helps savings kind of blossom over time. And it's a healthy habit. And then I'm trying to still observe how much money is kind of carried over, because I just started doing auto pay for my student loans. So I'm trying to track if I'm closing in on zero-based budgeting, but I'm not running at that because I need to actually know my numbers a little bit better first. So that's where we're at so far. Item number 6. Continually check for ways to reduce your expenses even more. So for me, I'm always kind of thinking like, how could I get my expenses down a little bit more if I needed to? And I don't know if I need to, but I like to just think about it because it's kind of a fun mental exercise. So for me right now, I think I want to see if I can get my services or all my insurances bundled for a lower cost. But when I called to inquire, I couldn't quite tell if there would be a discount because it's like an automated system. So I get my car insurance and home insurance through Lemonade, and I am going to maybe move my pet insurance, which is about $20, over to Lemonade too. But I want to see if the numbers will be decreasing. When I called and chatted to find out, I couldn't get a clear answer, so I just left it alone because I ran out of time. But that's something. And I was also thinking, like, I live in a 2-bedroom apartment and that's fine. But if I really needed to cut expenses, I would move into a 1-bedroom. If I needed to cut them more, when my lease is up, I would move into a 1-bedroom, and then my children would just share a room and I would have a fold out couch. Like, if it comes down to it, I would save some money. I don't even know what, $300, $400 a month, just doing that. Cause I could. And also, I'm like, is there anything else I am looking at? Maybe internet, because there's a chance I could potentially use Mint Internet, because I know they have a special that recently dropped, and I was thinking about it because I think it's like $15 a month, and right now I'm paying $50. So I'm keeping an eye out for that. But where I live, there's only one provider for internet, and I know Mint is technically T-Mobile, so I'm not sure because I couldn't use T-Mobile internet when I moved out here. So it depends. If I could, that'd be another way that I would cut expenses, is just use Mint mobile internet. All right, so those are just some examples for you. So moving right along, item number 7, start immersion into frugal living and learning. Something that really is a game changer for someone who wants a budget is being a participant in the frugal community. There's some that are happening online, so I like to connect with other frugal creators. I like to watch a lot of frugal content because it keeps my mind thinking in the way that I want and feeling inspired from what others are learning and finding out and what they're sharing back, and I want to contribute to. So that's one community. There's also a Facebook Marketplace community where there's low and no expense opportunities there. There's also like a buy nothing group on Facebook in most cities, I believe. So if you want to do that. Also, I think it ties into like just being a person who does things more frugally. So like I like going to my library and catching up on new books that come out. Or I haven't tried it yet, but I want to use their museum pass because most libraries will give you free access to museum tickets. You just gotta sign up for them. So like there's things you can do that are free or low or no cost. So I think participating in frugal communities is a wonderful thing. I also am technically a part of a run club, which is free to participate in, but I'm rehabbing my knee, so I haven't been doing much with it. So I'm hoping to get into that maybe in the spring when it warms up, and or by this summer, because I still haven't really figured out what's going on with my knee, but I'm trying to rehab it with gentleness and like working on sleep posture. I think that's a part of what's going on. All right, so moving on. Item number 8. Question what you buy more closely and review your receipts after purchase. Review your purchase patterns. So for me, I like going and looking at my account to observe purchase patterns, but there's very little happening there at this point because I am now officially in my cash stuffing era. So there's no need for me to like really review. Mostly what I'm reviewing on my bank account is online purchases that are automated. But I do like to keep my envelopes from cash stuffing to review them, to observe behaviors and patterns that I am attaching to my spending dynamics, just to better understand myself and what's motivating me, which helps me improve my behaviors and understand myself, which is a good thing. Understand my financial self. Okay, so next here, I'm looking down because I like to write everything and stay orderly. Cash stuffing. So another tool that really helps save money is cash stuffing, because whatever I take out of the bank when it's a pay period, that's the money I have access to until the next pay period. I take my debit card and tuck it away, and for that 2 weeks until my next payday, the money I take out is what I have. So that has been a really good way to save money because there's no expenses that live outside of the cash that I've already selected as a part of my actual budget. So that is very freeing. And if you have not seen it, I just posted a video recently about cash stuffing and all of the tips that I have learned in that practice to really make a difference. So it should be a neighbor to this video, so check it out. All right. Okay, last but not least, really focus on frugal lifestyle reset. So this is like how you live your day-to-day. What kind of things are you doing with your time? What do you expect to do with your time? So like, my mom and her husband, my stepdad, will be coming to town for the holiday. And so I am excited to see them, but the old me would be trying to take them out to dinner, and that would be an expense, and I could still do that. But I'm actually motivated to find an activity that's lower cost and or free. So I'm looking forward to seeing what events are happening publicly. So I'm gonna check on Eventbrite, see if I can find a local event that's like centering around holiday, or just spend time or cook dinner for them at my place and show them around, or find something free to do. So that is going to be how my lifestyle shifts look a little bit more closely, and also like what free activities do I like to do. I love to go walking. I go walking every morning. I go to my little gym here, which is free because it's a part of the cost of like my rent. So I go walking every morning. I can walk around the community in the morning before it gets too warm. I personally love to cook. I love to sew. I love to read. I love my self-care time. I love homesteading, like learning more about that and developing more homesteading practices. So I'm really to the brim with activities other than like caring for my sons. My older son's kind of more self-sufficient. My younger son seems to need stuff, but they still like to hang around, and primarily they like to eat and get rides. They're teens, so that's where we're at. But I find that my frugal lifestyle involves a lot of activities that look different. So before, when I was less frugal, I would want to go out to eat all the time. I'd want to go to shows and events and all of that stuff. But now that stuff is just going to have to wait, honestly, until my student loans are paid off. So I'm real frugal at this point, and it's fine. So I just wanted to share my top 10, share a little background, because I have been the overwhelmed person who I stayed away from budgeting for years because I couldn't figure it out. It seemed too big and scary to make any progress. It seemed like it was something you had to like, you had to be really good at math and science to do. And I don't know why these rules were what I was locking in on, but it's actually a lovely thing. It's actually way simpler than those graphs and spreadsheets would have had me believe. So I'm sending this video out there for this specific person, the person who is overwhelmed and afraid because it's just too much. So this is a video where it's really simple, and you might want to meditate on these tips and tools and integrate them one by one. Take your time. You can do it. You can totally do it. It's not beyond you, and you don't even have to love math to do this. You can have yourself a little calculator and the world is yours. So I'm asking that if you are a person who has learned to budget, please leave a comment. Talk about your experience. Talk about that. Share a little hope for our friends who are overwhelmed. Tell them it's going to be okay. Tell them they can do it. Let's make this an encouraging place where we can help one person. If we even get one person to start their budgeting journey, then this video was totally worth it. So join me in the comments. Let's cheer our new budgeting folks on and let them know they can do this, and they deserve the financial peace that comes from knowing how to budget and having that relationship with your money be a good one. So I hope that this video has been helpful. I pray that you have a beautiful and blessed day. I will look forward to catching you in the next episode. Be sure to subscribe, join the tribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment. I'm always gonna just do that, so bear with me. All right, take great care. See you next time.